Welcome back to episode 6. Today, let's talk about the concept of perpetuation, okay? And the idea that as we form new habits and release habits that no longer serve us, how that really perpetuates the sort of energy and the momentum of habit formation and habit shifting. My name is Deb Blum. I am a self-love and authenticity coach and the host of this particular YouTube channel. I also am the founder of and the guide on it's called Self-Love Basecamp membership group. So selflovebasecamp.com is where you can find me, where I work with women. Lots of them are moms, and what we are doing is working on the journey to self-love. Most of these women are absolutely incredibly hardworking, completely committed women who do more and want to always do better, but they're never really fully feeling like they're doing enough. And so I want to talk today about this concept of how what we do sort of like perpetuates other things in our lives. And often what we need to be doing actually is dialing back rather than adding more. And so I want to be really careful that I don't give the impression that this habit conversation is anything to do with the idea that you need to be doing more, doing it better, pushing harder, powering through. That can be something that's really important for you, but there is a way to navigate forming new habits in a much more excuse me. There's a way to navigate the creation and the sticking with habit formation in a way that isn't as kind of brutal as I think habits often get sort of like made out to be. This idea that like we need to like push ourselves to do things. But because one of the things that's most important to know about them is that if we do it right, and if we do it at the pace that really is aligned with what's like what we can handle, we actually can get momentum from it. So for example, let's just say you decide that you want to start meditating. If you start by doing the tiniest little step, like I'm going to meditate for 1 minute a day, say for a whole week. Well, so what happens is you start to get like a snowball effect, because 1 minute a day is giving you that sense of like, wow, I did it. I did my 1 minute today. So you get that sense of like accomplishment and the reward, that like kind of dopamine hit of that it happened and I did it and look at that, I did it. Then when you do it for 5 days in a row, then you feel even more excited about it. And then maybe like when you get to 7 days, you decide that you want to increase that. Now, some people would say, oh, then increase it to 2 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that. Maybe another way to do it is to do 2 times a day, 1 minute meditations, because one of the things we know about our brains is that the repetition is the key. It's that repetition that actually forms that pathway in your brain. And one of the interesting things about this is that the brain doesn't really care. So whether you're doing a habit that's not good for you, a habit that's good for you, or some habit that's sort of neutral, it really doesn't make a difference. Your brain actually just sees repetition, and that's what it tries to bring ease to. So it kind of says, oh, that's what we're doing now? Okay, let's keep doing that. So the more times you do it through the day, the more you are likely to actually get results. And so to just be getting like going toward like I'm going to do this for 21 days is sometimes not enough. In fact, I think I heard this from somebody who wrote the Atomic Habits. I can't remember who, or speaks about atomic habits. But I think repetition is really, really important. And so this gets us into this like perpetual cycle, because what happens is there's another thing too, which is the less we do, the less we do, the more we do, the more we do. So the more that we actually align ourselves towards something, like if you don't have a somewhere you're going toward, then you're kind of just going to be like, imagine like a ship. If you're a ship and you don't really have like a compass going towards something, you're just going to sort of like float around, right? And we want to have at least a little bit of direction where we're going. It doesn't even have to be perfectly laid out, exactly where you want to go, specific goals. It doesn't have to be. It could just be a direction. Like I really want to go toward this business, this idea of being an entrepreneur, or I really want to move toward being really healthy, or I really want to move toward raising great adults, or I really want to move toward being able to be vibrant and energetic in my older years. I mean, you don't have to be like super, super specific, but what we do need to do is take the smallest steps and move toward that. And there is no wrong direction. Like, just do it. But do it in a way that feels like it's aligned and that can be doable, because this perpetuating of the pattern is part of what has to happen. So it's both the repetition in your brain, but it's also the orientation that I was saying before, that like the less you do, the less you do, and then the more you do, the more you do. So when you're moving toward this doing toward something that's important to you, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for you. And that perpetuation is actually critically important in being able to actually being successful in sticking with a habit. So the next time that we talk, the next time I come on, I'm going to actually begin to talk about the concept of patterns and the past and parts. Okay? Yeah, that's what we're going to do next. All right. Thanks, everybody.